Hey everyone, I'm out here in the garage and what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at my 2008 Acura MDX. So stay tuned. So if you're new to the channel, I just want to welcome you here and hopefully you'll consider subscribing if you like what you see. Also, check out Car Apprentice on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I post lots of pictures and videos on those platforms before I post anything on YouTube. And occasionally I'll post things on those platforms I don't post on YouTube. Also, check out the website at carapprentice.com. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. So I recently purchased a 2008 Acura MDX at a pretty good price, I hope. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the issues this car has and why I got it so cheap. Now, I don't need more cars. I already have several cars, but I figured this was a pretty good deal and might be a good project for the channel. So, let's get into it. If you watched the 2004 Honda Pilot introductory video from last year, you'll know that I considered buying a second generation MDX at the time, but we quickly settled on the Pilot because it was much cheaper. Like a lot of people, I periodically check online marketplaces in my free time, looking for deals. Well, one day I stumbled upon this 2008 Acura MDX with a technology package on Craigslist that had an engine issue. I believe the car was listed at $2,000 when I first saw it. I already had too many cars, so I decided to not pursue it. A week or so later, the price dropped to $1,500 and I started to pay attention. Then it dropped to $1,400 and the ad was updated with a more thorough description of the car's issues. The main issue was low compression in one of the engine cylinders, and the seller stated that it needs a new engine. It was apparent by the ad's tone that the seller had been dealing with some, shall we say, interesting characters and was ready to be done with this car. On the Thursday evening before the Labor Day weekend, I sent the seller a brief message to confirm the car's drivability and its overall condition, in hopes that I could pick it up on Friday before traffic became heavy and drive it home. The seller didn't respond, so I figured it was already sold or pending. The next morning, the ad was still up, so I sent the seller a brief message to which she responded and we set an appointment. The seller also provided the car's VIN, and it came back clean with no accident or flood damage history on Carfax or CarVertical. My plan was to quickly verify that the major systems and accessories worked, other than the engine of course, then wrap up the transaction to beat traffic, and so that it was early enough to call a tow truck if I got stranded somewhere. At 167,000 miles and in good cosmetic condition, it appears to be worth about $7,000 after repairs. So I knew I had quite a bit of room and I didn't want to waste time nitpicking the car. We wrapped up the paperwork and I hopped on the freeway, traveling in the right lane the whole way home with my hazards turned on. So to recap, here are the overall pros and cons of this car that I've discovered so far. The body's in very good shape, with just a couple minor dings and no rust. All major systems appear to be in working order, including the transmission, brakes, suspension, and AC. All the accessories appear to work. It has newer Yokohama tires that have quite a bit of tread life left. And again, the mileage is fairly low for this model year at around 167,000 miles. Alright, so let's move on to some of the cons. Obviously, the engine is the reason this car was sold so cheaply. I'm hopeful that the cylinder walls are in good shape so I can rebuild the engine instead of replacing it. According to the seller, and including the miles that I drove, the car has less than 100 miles on it since the check engine light came on and the misfire started. I've been doing quite a bit of research on these J37 engines and I've already done some testing and probably found the issue. There's a lot of fluid residue on the underside of the chassis, so we'll hopefully take care of the leaks while we're working on the engine. The interior needs a thorough detail. There's dog hair everywhere and what smells like saliva. The leather on the driver's seat bolster is torn and there's a small tear in the armrest that I may have repaired also. The sill plate on the driver's side needs to be replaced. The coating on the headlights is peeling, so I'm hoping to polish them then coat them with a high quality clear coat. And lastly, the edge of one of the taillights is chipped, so I'll look for a replacement. Alright, so there you have it. There's a 2008 Acura MDX. And on this project, I am keeping the expenses as low as possible, so I have not really spent very much money so far. I'm doing a lot of assessment first before I go out and buy any tools or buy any other parts that I might need for this car. And I'm also looking at borrowing tools from the local AutoZone when I can. In the next video on this car, we'll start doing some diagnosis of the engine issues, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching.